I will do anything in my power to defend physical media because the future of movies is at stake. This is Shelf Dive. Today we're going to be talking about streaming, losing physical media, the future of film as a whole, everything like that. And I'm a bit fired up today about it, if I'm being honest. So Netflix, those traitors, were a giant DVD rental service back in the day. And they got so big that now every studio or every big company with a backlog of more than 2 movies wants a piece of that streaming money. It's gotten kind of ridiculous. So Netflix, after turning their backs on physical media, first of all, let's go back and look at this. DVDs through the mail? Like, really? Do you know how fragile DVDs are? I didn't have a problem just going to Blockbuster. There's a little bit more of a selection. You could get movies whenever you wanted. But 9 out of 10 of those movies I would get on Netflix. I mean, come on, they would be scratched. They're in these little paper sleeves. You trust those through the mail? It was this very strange model to me. I was more of one to try more physical, in-person stores or buy my movies. Netflix didn't really hold on to me for long, and I became a Blockbuster or just general retail store defender. Anyway, as a film fan, I have to get this really important note out of the way before we continue. Netflix can be a good outlet for creatives. Sometimes. There are some filmmakers that have been trying for a long time to get their movies made, and a lot of studios can't take that gamble. Netflix has a really, really safe audience, so they've been willing to pick up stuff that other studios wouldn't, and that can lead to a lot more creative freedom sometimes. Most of the time, they just make the easiest, cheapest, most widely appealing crap that they can possibly put out because they know that that's what their audience wants. It's just a replacement for cable. Let's be real.
Get real.
Cable was great, so people didn't have to think or choose about what they wanted to watch. Back when streaming started, everyone was like, holy fucking shit, I can just pick and choose and watch whatever awesome stuff I want. People don't do that anymore. They look at, what is Netflix placing in front of me right now? I'm gonna watch that. And it's the most generic, crappy, bland stuff. So Netflix has a position in which they could be a new renaissance of creative pioneering. But no, it's not that. It's just cable 2.0. Personally, I think this is going to have a really long-lasting effect. I mean, it's sort of been in effect for a number of years already, and we're seeing those effects. That's why there's so much streaming crap. Everybody's just ready to give up on theaters and physical media altogether. Theaters are just, they're not what they were. You know, they're different now. The mid-budget movie doesn't exist. It's really hard to make a comedy these days. And, you know, this is leading into my main point of the video. Physical media, gone. It's going away, and I'm panicked about it, and I'm pretty angry, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I know I really am. Many people have spoken about how physical media was a second life for a film, that if it didn't do too well at the box office, physical media could be a way for a lot of big studios to recoup those costs or make sure the film has a larger following or a cult following, as many films have had that did not perform well in theaters but became big hits over time with DVD, as the DVD release was like a second formal release. It was a big deal. There would be advertising, and they don't do that as much anymore. You'll just see a banner on your smart TV that says Beetlejuice is now available to stream. So 2 years ago, I wanted to watch Austin Powers. Now, I looked everywhere for it. I used justwatch.com, which is in fact a very helpful website if you're trying to find where something is streaming. I know I'm not the biggest fan of streaming, but you know, kill me if I've used streaming services before. We all have. Anyway, I wanted to watch Austin Powers, and the only options I could have had were to purchase the movies or rent them. I could have rented them for $4 or $5 a piece, right? And you receive a digital license to watch it for 24 hours or something like that. And buying them was like $15, so it's like $45 to own them all, or like, I don't know, it's just at least $10 to rent them all, and you don't get to even hold on to them. We'll talk about digital licensing in a second. But first of all, anyway, I was able to walk into a Best Buy and purchase a Blu-ray that had all 3 films on there for, I believe it was $6.99, and go home, and now I have all 3 Austin Powers movies.
Make a selection, love.
I really miss those days. I mean, they had aisles and aisles. Target had them. Walmart kinda has them still, but even then they're shrinking. Barnes & Noble has maybe a little stand. Like, they're going away, and it's for good this time. I'm literally trying to find where in town I can buy physical media because Barnes & Noble seems to be the only place. Maybe Walmart if I'm lucky. And another issue I have with that is Target replaced 2 or 3 aisles of DVDs and Blu-rays with 2 or 3 aisles of vinyl records, which is fine, but like vinyl records are also physical media. And the only reason those are being sold right now is because they're having a bit of a renaissance. If that's anything to go by, discs and Blu-rays will finally have a second coming and become a big deal in like 10 or 15 years, maybe longer. So if there's movies I want to watch right now that are coming out now and should be getting formal wide Blu-ray releases, I'm gonna have to wait 10, 15, 20 years for the next generation to finally be like, holy crap, these were cool. Why don't you guys use these anymore? I don't have that time. I don't have 15, 20 years to wait to go buy Kinds of Kindness on Blu-ray or for it to even get a 4K release, because Searchlight has not been giving all of those movies like in that realm 4K releases, which is also really annoying. But I'm just getting fucking pissed off. And not to mention that, speaking of Searchlight, Fox and Disney haven't given Barbarian a Blu-ray release at all. And they considered that movie a hit. Like, that movie did really well. It made something like $40 million on a $5 million budget. Like, they considered that a big success. No home release. And then it just got slapped on streaming. Great. So where does this leave us, the people who still want to buy physical media? The only option we have left is to pay a premium for a more premium product, which I'm willing to do, but I can't afford that for every movie I want to own. This used to be widely available. And so, for example, Criterions are upwards of $30, $40, $50, depending on what format you want. Disney just announced their Wave 2 of those Disney Plus Steelbooks. Last year's round was $40 for a Blu-ray and $50 for a 4K. That's a pretty reasonable price for a season of television and a steelbook. I mean, maybe a little high, but I paid it for WandaVision and it was worth it to me. This year, they've got a second round coming out, which I was excited for. I wanted to buy Hawkeye as a Christmas gift for somebody. And guess what? Holy fucking shit, look at that price. Are you serious? The same length. It's a season of television. It really shouldn't cost more a year later. The only reason it is because now they don't have a retail front to sell it in. I was able to go into Best Buy or Walmart or Target and buy these last year. That doesn't exist anymore. So there's less people willing to buy, and in order to make enough and distribute them and all that, of course they have to price it higher, which is just I don't know who to blame in this situation, because I understand they got to make it cost a little more, but is it their fault? Is it the fault of the consumers who wanted to take the easy way out and just go for streaming, which I guess was cheaper and easier in the short term, but in the long run, it's going to be a lot more expensive for everybody. And just so what? So you didn't have to get up, put a disc in the Blu-ray player that also nobody has anymore, and you can find them at Goodwill for fucking $20, and there's a whole stack of them. It's kind of crazy. I got a 4K player at Walmart like a couple months ago on clearance for $50. Those were $200, $300 more, whatever, like a couple years ago when they first came out. It's crazy. And I know what you're all thinking, like, not just with streaming, but owning digital movies, like, discs are a hassle, the discs will scratch, like, they'll take up space, as you can see. They clearly did take up space, so I guess that's a pretty valid point. Like, I'll just buy it digitally or whatever. But having a movie digitally is not reliable ownership. It makes it very clear in the terms and conditions that you own a license to view the product that they can take away at any time, and sometimes companies have. The discovery content on PlayStation to be a specific example. Like, whenever Disney just decides, we want you to pay for Disney Plus just so you can watch our movies, they can take away your library. They can. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's in the agreement. So discs, while, nothing is perfect and nothing lasts forever and nothing is made to last forever, and we've learned that lesson with discs in video games before, they can't bust down your door and take away your discs. And Blu-rays, I will say, they hold up really well. I've only really encountered one Blu-ray scratch in my entire collection, and it was something I got from Goodwill. So DVDs, I understand, those are a different thing entirely, but Blu-rays are pretty reliable and don't scratch. I'm in denial, but I know why this is happening. This shit is just not making money anymore. That's why they're not selling this stuff. But it's disheartening for the sake of media preservation, which, as an artist, I think is a very important thing. Like, all of this streaming and digital content isn't treated as permanent or, like, even really treated as art. Just a quick, consumable product that once you've seen it, you'll move on to the next one. That's why Netflix makes a big deal of having content that comes out every week or something, because they don't want you to view it as art and think about it too hard. They want you to consume, be happy that you paid that subscription fee, move on to the next thing, and continue forever. Like movie of the week on cable, except without the advertising, and they're taking more of your money. So my plea is for more companies to take into consideration availability and just more commitment to physical media. Not for the sake of money, which I know is hard sometimes, and a lot of people like me are willing to pay a premium. I am willing to pay a premium in a lot of cases, but also for the artistic and media preservation side of things, which is important. I hope you agree. I'm going to be talking about this a lot more. I want to talk about movies on this channel. And all sorts of other cultural important things in the world of art and everything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we can have a really intense conversation about this if you want. I'll defend physical media as far as I can. But thank you for watching Shelf Dive, and I'll see you all in the next video.